Cape Alava Sandpoint Loop Trail is located in the Olympic National Park on Washington's rugged coast near the north end of Lake Ozette. The trail is open year-round and is especially popular with hikers in the spring when snow still blocks mountain trails. Check with the National Park Service online for current rules, regulations, and restrictions. The popularity of this trail is indicated by the massive parking area. Expect company on the trail no matter what time of year you visit, but it is especially popular from late spring to early fall. A bit of advice from the trail managers is to leave behind the lug-soled hiking boots and instead wear rubber-soled shoes with a good grip. The rubber soles do better on the wet boards. You should also leave your pets at home as they are not allowed on the trails. It's important to plan ahead if you intend to hike along the beach section of the loop trail. Get current weather forecasts and tide charts and plan your hike accordingly. Current tide information may be available at the ranger station located near the parking area. Permits and fees are required for overnight camping, and reservations may be required for some locations between May 1st and September 30th. Call the park managers for more details and restrictions. Take a moment to review the information displays for safety and other information. Okay, so if you're ready, let's hit the trail. The wide and nearly level trail starts out amid heavy forest. Within just 100 yards or so, you have a decision to make, which trail to walk. If you're looking for more solitude, the Sandpoint Trail might be a better choice. If you want more scenic ocean views, the Cape Alava Trail would probably be better. Of course, you get to see both trails if you intend on hiking the entire loop. This time, we'll head to the right and take the Cape Alava Trail down to the beach. Then we'll follow the beach trail south and finally return by the Sandpoint Trail. Wooden boardwalks have been built to protect the fragile environment and to keep hikers from sinking up to their knees in the bogs. Be sure to stay on the boardwalks or risk mud-covered shoes. Early on, you'll find that the boardwalks are somewhat narrow, perhaps allowing a pair of hikers to walk side by side, but more likely you'll be going single file. Parties going in opposite directions should pass each other carefully so you don't bump each other off the boardwalk. Along the way, don't become complacent about walking on the boardwalks. In some places they are crooked and wobbly and may be missing boards. But it's a pleasant, gentle grade through lush forest most of the way down to the coast, and it seems to go on forever. As the trail approaches within a half mile or so of the coast, you may feel the forest thin out a bit, allowing in more sunlight. The trail several times passes in and out of dense forest, crossing meadows in between. Eventually you can start to smell the ocean air and maybe hear waves crashing onto the shore. At last, after about 3.5 miles, the trail emerges onto Cape Alava. Continue along the trail as it leads to the camping area and easy beach access, and oh, all the comforts of home. If you spend the night here, be aware that deer, raccoons, black bear, and other animals are in the area. The park requires that food be stored in hard-sided food containers like bear canisters. Protect your gear and your food so you don't feed the animals intentionally or by accident. As you step onto the beach, assuming there is no fog to obscure the view, Ozette Island will command your attention. A short way along the beach to the north is the archaeological site of Ozette Village. The Macaw village can be dated back over 2,000 years, and many recovered artifacts have helped bring life to the long-abandoned village. Our trail, however, leads us south from Cape Alava. The beach trail stays above the high tide mark whenever possible. It's easier to walk on the sand than the rocks. Take note of the black and orange signals placed along the beach trail. They indicate overland trails, which may be useful for rounding headlands in case you get caught in poor weather or try to cross the beach at high tide. You will likely find treasures on the beach, both man-made and natural. Though I like to encourage leave no trace principles, the National Park Service does allow visitors to collect small amounts of shells from non-living creatures. Roughly midway between Cape Alava and Sand Point are wedding rocks, where you can find the popular petroglyphs. The glyphs are not easy to find, and one way to locate them is to look for people huddling around the rocks. Don't be shy in asking for help. Most of the hikers along here know where they are and are very willing to point them out. The glyphs depict whales, halibut, sailing ships, and other important items. They were carved into the rocks by hand using stone tools. The work was slow, but proved very durable. The glyphs are scattered all around the point. Some are very difficult to find. Continue south from Wedding Rocks to Sand Point. The trail will round a final obstacle, and if the tide was in, you'd have to climb up and over. But with the tide out, you can simply walk around it. Good planning, or good luck, really pays off in places like this. Rocks have given way to a sandy beach. In just another half mile is Sand Point, about 3 miles from Cape Alava. Climb up and over Sand Point to find the beach on the other side with its own lovely treasures. Locate the trail marker at the top of the driftwood that marks the Sand Point Trail, and soon you're back in the forest. The Sand Point Trail is on such a gentle uphill grade that you may hardly notice at all that you're gaining elevation. The Sand Point Trail is nearly identical in every way to the Cape Alava Trail, boardwalks, forest, and bogs. Though you won't find solitude, you may encounter fewer people along this trail. In about 3 miles, you'll find yourself right back at the trail junction, the end of the trail, and finally, the parking lot. Trail specs. Round trip was 9.5 miles. Trailhead elevation 170 feet. Lowest elevation was sea level. Total elevation gain is about a combined 500 feet. USGS Quad Maps, Ozette. This is Mark Weitzel saying thanks for hiking with me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next trail.